Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I'm your host, the One Take Man. On the day of this video's release, it'll be December 1st, known to some people as World AIDS Day, but known to most people in my birth country of Romania as national holiday, or the main national holiday of the entire country. I was thinking about how to celebrate the occasion, and I went through some ideas, but the one that really stuck out to me was the one that brings me on the Wikipedia page for uh, you know for the national holiday, because I thought, you know what, I might as well just read through it and obviously comment upon it because I'm me. I'm kind of a stickler. I kind of want to add just a little bit of detail because while Wikipedia is sometimes helpful, it doesn't always tell the full story for a variety of reasons. That is also why I made myself smaller in this video, so you can see more of the actual page. So let's start with not the first paragraphs, but with this, I don't know, little box to the side, because I know a lot of people look at that box first before they go through anything else. So, Great Union Day, and we got here a photo of the National Assembly in Alba Iulia. In case you're wondering why this photo is particularly relevant for this day, well, you'll find out as I read through the rest of the article. But until then, let's keep going. Official name: Ziua Națională a României, also called Ziua Marii Uniri, observed by Romania, obviously, and Moldova, unofficially. Yeah, no surprise. Celebrations: military parades, most notably in Alba Iulia and Bucharest, which is the Romania's capital, and also fireworks. Observances: Te Deum at the Alba Iulia Orthodox Cathedral. The fact that the national holiday of a secular country has a religious observance is beyond disturbing, at least to me. I know I don't show it, and I don't really let it out in my voice, but this this makes my this is unpleasant. Date: the 1st of December. Next time, 1st of December 2022, or today when this video comes out. Frequency: annual. Related to Day of the Unification of the Romanian Principalities. Funnily enough, this particular day only recently became a national holiday. Until then, it was just kind of uh, uh, an answer to historical trivia questions. This also has a somewhat interesting question stemming from the war for Crimea between the Ottoman and Russian empires. Namely the fact that, as you know, I say that the war for Crimea was between the Ottoman and Russian empires, but the Western empires also got in there. And by Western empires, I mean France and Britain. Fun fact: the Iron Maiden song "The Trooper" is actually about a British soldier or British cavalry officer during the Crimean War. Yeah, a lot of their songs have these kinds of historical backgrounds. They were the Sabaton before Sabaton. Anyway, back to the Romanian principalities. During the peace negotiations for the war, the main interests of the Western empires was to make sure that neither the Ottomans nor the Russians would become too powerful in the immediate future. And one of their points of contention were the Romanian principalities of Wallachia and Moldova, which more or less both of these countries were vying for at the time, and I've actually even had armed disputes over. It was decided at the peace talks that these principalities would be self-governing. They would still be part of the Ottoman Empire, but they would be autonomous. And as part of their autonomy, they would also be able to choose, elect, appoint their own leaders. And the first time such a leader was appointed, both principalities appointed the same guy, Alexandru Ioan Cuza, and that led to them being unified on January 24th, 1859. Anyway, trivia aside, let's get into the actual article. Great Union Day, or Ziua Mari Uniri, also called Unification Day or National Day, is a national holiday in Romania celebrated on the 1st of December, marking the unification of Transylvania, Bessarabia, and Bukovina. Let's see if there's... Oh, okay, there are some photos as well. But only this one actually has... only this one actually has, like, geographical information. Anyway, moving on. Marking the unification of Transylvania, Bessarabia, and Bukovina with the Romanian Kingdom, the Kingdom of Romania, in 1918, something that is known as the Great Union, which is an event that actually has its own Wikipedia article, but I'm not going to go into that. That would make this video way too long. This holiday was declared after the Romanian Revolution, the 1989 revolution that overthrew Nicolae Ceausescu, and commemorates the assembly of the delegates of ethnic Romanians held in Alba Iulia, who declared the union of Transylvania with Romania. This was not the only union that was declared during that day, but it was the most important, given that Transylvania and some associate territories saw the country pretty much double in size almost overnight. Prior to 1948, until the abolition of the monarchy, the national holiday was on the 10th of May, which had a double meaning. It was the day on which King Carol I set foot on Romanian soil in 1866, and the day on which the prince ratified he was a prince at the time, in 1866, more on that later, and the day on which the prince ratified the Declaration of Independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1877. Independence was ratified in 1877, or declared in 1877, but it actually took an independence war for it to actually happen, and it ended about a year later, so it wasn't that much of a problem. Also, the day, Wikipedia says that this day actually has a double meaning. I can't talk anymore. Wikipedia says that this day has a double meaning, but in fact it has a triple meaning. Aside from these two that have already been mentioned, it also marks the day on which Carol I went from being the prince of the United Principalities to the King of Romania. The Kingdom of Romania was declared in 1880, and I think Carol's coronation as king occurred in 1881. Still, his entire reign is when people talk about his reign, they also include his time as prince, not just his time as king, because reasons. From 1948, during the period of communist administration, the national holiday was on August 23rd, Liberation from Fascist Occupation Day. I'll put a pin in that and return to this. To mark the 1944 overthrow of the pro-fascist government of Marshal Ion Antonescu, with parades held in Charles de Gaulle Square, then called Stalin Square and Aviator Square. I'll put a second pin here, but first I'm going to take the first pin out. Liberation from Fascist Occupation Day. It wasn't actually just straight up liberation from fascist occupation, because you can argue whether or not fascists occupied Romania, or whether or not we're talking about external forces invading, as the term occupation would imply, and the extent to which fascists just happen to come to power. Because while it's easy to call yourself a victim after the deed happened, truth be told, there was some support for a fascist movement in Romania, and that movement led to a lot of concessions by the ruling classes, which ultimately also saw the overthrow of the monarchy in around 1940-ish, when the Nazis started to flood into Romania, but they still mostly saw a let's say friendly reception, as in they didn't really have to fight to hold what it is they had, and Romanian troops were quite happy to cooperate in in fighting the Soviet Union. By 1944, however, the situation was a little bit different in that the Soviet Union had basically overrun Romania, and they decided that in order to gain popular support, they would bring the monarchy that was overthrown, at least for a while, uh, back in their country, and that led to the 23rd of August 1944 moment when Romania switched sides from being an Axis power to an Allied power. The monarchists stayed in Romania but had limited power overall, and then were thrown out again by the uh, Soviets this time on the 30th of December 1947. Then they came back after the 1989 Romanian Revolution. So yeah, it's a big mess. Also, Charles de Gaulle Square, then called Stalin Square and Aviator Square. I can't really speak for Stalin Square, but I can say that I do think it was called Aviator Square. I have some faint recollection of that, but that might just be doing the Mandela effect on myself. I do, however, know that the nearest subway station is called Aviators, and the neighborhood that square is in, or the neighborhood closest to this square, is called Aviators. So, yeah, I fully believe that. Okay, history. There is a main article, there is a background and with another main article, but then again, I already gave you the summary, but I'm gonna read this phrase anyway. Modern Romania appeared after the unification of Moldavia and Wallachia, and here's a nice photo of it, by Prince Alexandru Ioan Cuza on the 24th of January 1859. I don't recall him being called prince, but whatever. This act, sometimes known as the Little Union, is now celebrated as the day of the unification of the Romanian principalities, or Little Union Day, as I already mentioned. Alba Iulia National Assembly. Again, there is a main article in C also. I'm not going into those. On the 1st of December 1918, or November 18th, Old Style. Old Style, I'll put a pin in that and come back to it at the end of this paragraph. So, on this date, the National Assembly of Romanians of Transylvania and Hungary, consisting of 1,228 elected representatives of the Romanians in Transylvania, Banat, Crișana, and Maramureș, convened in Alba Iulia and decreed, by unanimous vote, the unification of those Romanians and of all the territories inhabited by them with Romania. So yeah, as I said, it wasn't just Transylvania that got attached or annexed to Romania. It was a whole bunch of other surrounding areas. But anyway, back to this date. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the history of calendars, but before the modern calendar, the Gregorian calendar, was applied in Romania. Romania used the Julian calendar, which functions basically the same, but calculates a day that is somewhat too long, and that over time leads to a little bit of a drift between what the dates are actually supposed to be and what they what they are. That drift currently sits at around 12 days, which seems to be about what what this little what this addition implies. Anyway, moving back to the article, because I'm not going to go through calendars with you now. The resolution voted by the National Assembly also stipulated the fundamental principles for the foundation of a new Romanian state. It was conditional and demanded the preservation of a democratic local autonomy, the equality of all nationalities and religions. Yep. Later, the Romanian National Council of Transylvania was also formed. There is a source here in Romanian, but it doesn't really seem to have any link to it. But it seems Wikipedia wanted to make an article for it, wanted to make a page for it, but it doesn't exist. Anyway, the next day, the 2nd of December 1918, the Romanian National Council of Transylvania formed a government under the name of Conducting Council of Transylvania, Consiliul Dirigent al Transilvaniei, headed by Iuliu Maniu. This nice guy. Not sure what to make of him. On the 11th of December 1918, King Ferdinand I signed a law regarding the union of Transylvania, Banat, Crișana, the Satmar, and Maramureș with the Old Kingdom of Romania, decreeing that the lands named in the resolution of the Alba Iulia National Assembly of the 18th of November 1918, yeah. So that's why you added this, this old style date. So it matches the declaration here. Are and remain forever united with the Kingdom of Romania. Not quite. There were some concessions made to Hungary as part of the 1940 agreement to to bring Hungary and Romania into the war on the Axis side, for one, and second of all, after Romania, after the Second World War, Romania had to make some sizable concessions regarding which territories were actually under its government. Anyway, moving on, declaration of the holiday. Resolution 903 of the Council of Ministers on the 18th of August 1949 had marked the 23rd of August as a national holiday. Law number 10 of 1990, declared on the 1st of August 1990, moved the national holiday to the 1st of December. The law does not specify the significance of this day as the national holiday, because reasons. It was adopted in 1990 by a parliament dominated by the members of the National Salvation Front. Yeah, that's their snazzy little logo. Make of that what you will. And promulgated by the then president, Ion Iliescu. The decision combated in some amount sympathy with the tradition of Romanian monarchy associated with the 10th of May, but also disappointed the anti-communist opposition, who wished the national holiday to be moved to the 22nd of December. I have no clue why the 22nd of December. The choice of the 1st of December, though not explicitly declared in the law, referred to the unification of the provinces of Transylvania, Banat, Crișana, and Maramureș with Romania in 1918. The choice of this day as a national holiday was seen as an affront to the Hungarian minority of Romania. Yeah, well, everything is an affront to them, with all due respect. Which signified for them a loss in political power. How did they lose political power that way? Anyway, first celebration. The 1st of December national holiday saw the largest celebrations in Alba Iulia, where where that National Assembly occurred. Thing is, Alba Iulia otherwise doesn't really have anything that's particularly important about it. So it's more like a mark of history. That's their main claim to fame. Other cities are, other major Romanian cities are like former provincial capitals and stuff like that. Anyway, moving on. The location in which the proclamation of the Union was signed. They were marked by significant political polarization. Corneliu Coposu, then the leader of the anti-communist opposition, was interrupted several times during a speech by boos from the crowd. Petre Roman, then prime minister, showed such pleasure at these repeated interruptions that Ion Iliescu had to gesture to them to stop. Yeah, it does not surprise me. The signal was captured on film and spread widely by the mass media. If that did actually happen, it happened before my time, so I can't really say. National Military Parade, I don't think you really care about that. But, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna read it. National Military Parade. Every year, an annual military parade, known officially as the National Military Parade, Parada Militară Națională, of the Romanian Armed Forces, either on the grounds of Piața Constituției, Constitution Square, or on Șoseaua Chișinău Road, just within meters of the Arcul de Triunf in central Bucharest, is held in honor of the occasion. A parade is also held in the city of Alba Iulia and other major cities. Citation needed. I don't actually know of any other major cities that hold parades. To be honest, as a Romanian who has now lived for over 11 years outside of Romania, I only ever heard of Bucharest holding parades. And sometimes they aren't held on December 1st, but on but on the day before that, which also holds some level of significance for Romania, but more on religious grounds. I'm not getting into that right now. The president of Romania is the guest of honor at the Bucharest parade. As commander in chief, the president receives the report of the chief of the Romanian General Staff upon their arrival on the square to a bugle call fanfare played by a lone trumpeter. Should it be trumpeter or trumpeteer? Anyway, after receiving the salute, the president walks to salute the color guard provided by the Michael the Brave 30th Guards Brigade. Okay, before inspecting and greeting the Guard of Honor. I'm not exactly sure what kind of inspection the president can come, because I can say that our current our current president is a former mayor, first of all, and second of all, a former physics teacher. And don't get me wrong, physics teachers do a lot of great jobs. I still have a pretty good opinion on mine, but he doesn't exactly have expertise on, I would imagine, military standards. Anyway, moving on. After this, Deșteaptă-te Române, Romania's national anthem, is then performed by the massed bands of the Bucharest garrison, made partly from musicians of this same brigade, and a combined military and civilian choir, as a 21-gun salute is fired in the background, of course. Following this, in the Kiselev Road parade, the president lays a wreath at the Arcul de Triomphe. This was inaugurated in Arcul de Triomphe was modeled after the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, and it was created in 1930 to celebrate their victory in the First World War. Romania's victory in the First World War, which was really kind of a freaking mess, because they. But I'm not gonna go into that right now. I might go into that right at the end. Before heading back to the grandstand. After this, the parade commander, who is a general ranked officer of the armed forces, then orders the start of the parade in the following manner. Anyway, the parade proper then begins at this point, which is usually led by a masked color guard and foreign troops. Okay, that's new. Before the active personnel of the armed forces on the parade route, before the active personnel of the armed forces march on the parade route, as the masked bands play music led by its senior director. A historical segment of servicemen in the First World War uniforms usually forms part of the march past. Yeah, unsurprising. As I said, Arc de Triomphe. The march past is composed first of all active formations, followed by those of the military academies and NCO schools. Anyway, after this, the ground mobile column, which are composed of tanks, APCs, IFVs, the field and air defense artillery, and logistics vehicles of the armed forces, police vehicles, and emergency vehicles, follow. Though I imagine they are there mostly on, mostly because they're on duty, not because they're on display. Accompanied by the occasional fly past of the armed forces and police. Police can fly past? I would imagine I'd imagine the Romanian police has helicopters, but doesn't really make sense. Anyway, doesn't really make sense to me, who is kind of an anarchist. Anyway, moving along. Foreign troops have included delegations from Turkey, the United Kingdom, Moldova, and the United States, with specific units including the Slovenian Guard units, the United States Marine Corps, and the Honor Guard Company of the Moldovan National Army. Okay? Now I know. The parade is then ended with the Honor Guard Company of the 30th Guards Brigade, and then followed by the massed bands marching off the square. Citation needed. Yeah, I can't really comment on that. Then there's some see also, and then there's some references. Okay, what else is here? Quite a bit. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, I'll put the link down below. Before I go through that, however, I want to comment a little bit on the on Romania's First World War record, because yeah, that was kind of a mess. And I kind of want to mention it. Because before that there was kind of this push to unite every Romanian under the national government, give them all a country, as there was this big nationalist push in the Century of Nations, and that was the main impetus why Romania eventually joined the First World War 2 years after it started in 1916. It was a real mess, that that initial campaign. They had some successes as they crossed the Carpathian Mountains into Transylvania, which was by that time which was by that time not part of Romania, but they soon got pushed right out of their, right out of their entire nation, and and had to, and really kind of had to play ball with their occupiers from the Central Powers, up until their occupiers within the Central Powers started running out of steam. At which point they bounced back, and because they were one of the winning nations of the First World War, they were given. They were allowed to choose some of their spoils, and the spoils they have chosen was the unification of some of their provinces, leading to Romania looking something like this, which you will note is not how Romania looks currently, or how its outline looks currently. Even now, it doesn't look like this with the flag on top of it. But anyway, bad attempts at humor aside, thank you for your attention. This has been the video. If you enjoyed this little trek through one specific moment of on one hand history, on the other hand pomp and circumstance, then please leave a like and maybe even share this video wherever you think other people will like it as well. If you have anything you would like to add to any part of what I've just said, the comment section awaits your input. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. Ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. I also have a main channel where I talk about more book related or literature topics, which I will link in the description down below, right past all of my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to do so. Until next time, I have been the One Take Man.